Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to the District of Sechelt Committee of the Whole meeting Wednesday, February 11th. The time is 3 o'clock. I'm going to start with a land acknowledgement that as we know, the District of Sechelt is located on the traditional and unceded territory of the Sechelt Nation. We respect the histories, language, and culture of the people of the Sechelt Nation, whose present continues to enrich this community. I'll take another opportunity to congratulate the Siaya Reconciliation Movement for winning a BC Reconciliation Award about 10 days ago. Lucky enough to attend the ceremony at Government House, which was spectacular and inspiring. And we should all be proud of the work that we all do to support that. I'd also just like to make a note that, oh, goodness sakes. As with everybody else in the country, our hearts and thoughts are with our colleagues and citizens of Tumbler Ridge. I'd like to call this meeting to order and ask council if there are any declarations of conflict. Seeing none. Before we adopt the agenda, I'd like to suggest that we move 5.2 and 5.1, or that we swap them so that staff can be on their merry way as we run out of chairs. Any objections to that from council? All right, can I ask for adoption of the agenda as amended then? Councillor, thank you. All in favor? So carried. So that being said, we are going to start with proclamation, February 2026. For Toastmasters Month. And I'm just going to read it out for our viewers online in case they don't have an agenda in front of us. Whereas Toastmasters International, a nonprofit educational organization, is a leader in making effective oral communication and international reality for all persons, and whereas Toastmasters programs help people develop skills in speaking, listening, and other vital skills that enhance leadership potential and foster understanding. And whereas there are active Toastmaster clubs on the Sunshine Coast that meet regularly to continue to promote the goals, vision, mission, and core values of Toastmasters International. And whereas Toastmasters International has designated February as Toastmasters Month, now therefore, it is Mayor Henderson has proclaimed this February 2026 as Toastmasters Month, and it would only be proper, since it's Toastmasters, that Johanna Jeppa comes to the seat and has a few words to say. Don't forget to turn the mic on there. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. Thank you so much for recognizing Toastmasters and our February Toastmasters Month. It is an education program, and I just wanted to highlight that the Sechelt Club will be providing an accelerated training program for those interested, and it starts April 21st to May 26th, weekly. It will be integrated into our regular club meetings, and we have room for 3 people now. It has started to be occupied, but please contact me or my colleague, Maureen Macbeth, who's been a long-time Toastmaster. We welcome all people. And as you mentioned, Brenda, it's helping the world with communication and leadership. Thank you.
Thanks, Johanna. Thank you guys for attending. Okay, moving on to our business items then. We'll start with 5.2, the fourth quarter reports. CAO Yates.
Thank you very much, Chair Rowe. I felt that as we were kicking off the new year, and this council's term is winding to a close rapidly, that this would be a good opportunity for the management team to present the successes of the past year and in some cases talk a little bit about what's happening now. So the entire crew is here. They'll each do a little bit, and then we'll happily answer questions after that. Thank you.
Thank you. So who's going to start?
I'm up, but we do have a presentation, so I will just wait for that to load, if that's okay, Chair. Okay. The backstory to this is that we do meet quarterly as a staff group and go through these slides. So we were able to tell all of our staff about the presentation you're about to see, and we've curated it somewhat for council today. So corporate and community services is communications, human resources, corporate services, and community services. And to be clear, community services is our parks and culture, parks, arts, and culture, as well as our community services coordinator who helps coordinate the facilities. I'll move to the next slide. So first off, we like to welcome our new people each quarter. So this quarter we had Garrett, who's in wastewater. He's our new lab tech. And we have Jody Barron, who came to us from Squamish, and he's our new manager of public works. We have Kat, she's our project coordinator working with Julie, and Joanne, who's our new deputy corporate officer. So welcome to those folks. So I'm going to turn it over to our department heads. I have the great pleasure of working with Lindsay Vickers as our manager of communications. Thank you, Lindsay.
You. My lack of Toastmasters is really going to be on display now. Yes. Oh, I can do this. In communications, you kind of never know what you're going to get. We're kind of a jack of all trades in some ways. We support all the divisions and the organization as a whole, and we share information with the community. And we try really hard to engage meaningfully with our residents, as that's our most important interest group. And we hopefully create some interesting content from time to time. The fourth quarter supported a lot of large events that we have in the end of the year, mostly the winter, mainly the holiday events, try to drum up more excitement about it, floats that would go in the parade, and also share a lot of information that's broadcasted on behalf of the Sechelt Downtown Business Association as well. But really, it's a team effort across all divisions. Everyone puts in a lot of work over the holidays to make the events really fun. This year, we supported some big projects, the Transportation Master Plan, the CLDA, and the Official Community Plan, which continues heavily in 2026. Stage 1 of the Municipal Hall renovation, the large recycling campaign that we did to try to reduce contamination in our recycling bins, and that was successful. We sourced and promoted bear-resistant bins, and one of our overarching focuses has been on community safety. With ideas and guidance from the community safety group, we set up a booth at the volunteer fair alongside the RCMP, created a section and a fillable form on our website where residents can contact us with any community safety, to report a non-emergency community safety concern or issue. We created a section on our website dedicated to community safety and linked resources to it, partner resources. And we communicated quite a bit with the RCMP to support their efforts. Some of the larger campaigns, we have a new format for our annual report. So it's more image heavy, hopefully to drum up more interest in residents to be able to really digest the information that's presented to them, as there's a lot of information that we put out annually. So we wanted to make it more snackable, as I like to say. We began a fog campaign, and that's going to continue with partnership with the town of Gibsons. So we'll develop a really nice communications plan for that to hopefully educate residents about the importance of not putting fats, oils, and grease down the drain. And after a lot of suggestions from residents, we ordered bear-resistant organic bins, and we did bring them in. We sourced them and brought them in, and we haven't sold as many as we'd like, but we do receive feedback that says they are doing quite well for those that have them, and anyone who is still interested in them, we have them for them to hopefully keep some of the wildlife out. Okay, I wouldn't say we've gone totally viral, but for a District of Seashell viral, I'd say we kind of did. People seem to really like to know what's under the microscope coming from out of our wastewater. And on the left image, that is of a water bear, which is a very unique organism. That went really crazy for us. We don't usually receive that many views of a little video, but people really like the science behind it. The pump track, people really liked that little video as well. Just seeing a local residents using our small pump track and getting a lot of traction out of that. We had a lot of comments from visitors wondering where the pump track was, as well as comments from local residents loving the pump track and wanting to see it expanded or hoping to see it expanded. And then one of our last ones was pretty fun. While Rockwood looks like a really inviting place for a nice vacation, it is not, but we did list it as a fake Airbnb on April Fool's Day. We didn't put it on the Airbnb site, don't worry. And we staged it with some fake photographs, but that gained a lot of attention as well. Part of our department is council support. So Jennifer Doherty plays a great role in council support as well as support for CAO. She does a great job at adjusting and changing directions when needed, and she always has a great attitude. The role of the assistant for council and CAO is also a bit of a jack of all trades. She gets a lot of questions from the public, and it's her job to really connect with different managers and senior leadership team to find out some of the answers that residents are looking for. She's always doing it with a great attitude, and that definitely goes a long way. Right now, we're averaging around 150 emails and calls each month from the public. So she has a busy job. And most of the correspondence regarding community safety, housing, zoning amendments, and the official community plan. And as we look ahead in 2026, we're excited to continue supporting all the divisions on some of the large projects and connecting more with residents and the community. And with that, I will hand it over to my colleague Julia Wood in HR.
Thank you. Good afternoon. "2025 in human resources was a year defined by modernization, cost savings, strengthened processes, and building a more flexible and supportive workplace. In 2025, our Occupational Health and Safety Committee worked very hard to finalize an updated health and safety program. This was a significant undertaking, a full refresh of our compliance framework, hazard assessments, safe work procedures, our training and education sections, they were all updated. This program strengthens our safety culture across the District of Sechelt and ensures alignment with WorkSafe BC requirements. This work positions us strongly for audits, reduces organizational risk, and supports safe practices across all departments. Recruitment was intensive and impactful in 2025. We filled 20 roles critical to our operations. Our candidate selection process directly strengthens service delivery and contributes to long-term capacity building and succession planning. One of our most meaningful wins of the year was finalizing the regular day off program. This embedded workplace flexibility across the organization. This program supports employee wellness, operational consistency, and retention. It aligns us with modern HR practices and reflects what employees value most: trust, autonomy, and balance. This work directly contributes to higher morale and helps position us competitively in today's labor market. One of our most financially impactful achievements this year was the switch from Desjardins to Sun Life. We secured $84,000 in annual savings for the district, a 42% reduction in employee LTD premiums, and a 40-month rate stability guarantee. This is a major win for both staff and the organization. For the employees, the reduced LTD premiums increases their take-home pay. And for the district, the premium savings and the long rate guarantee provide predictability and budget stability. To wrap up, 2025 was a year of building stronger systems, improving financial stewardship, and reinforcing employee experience. Across occupational health and safety, training, recruitment, flexibility, and benefits, we worked together to produce meaningful, measurable improvements. In 2026, the focus will continue to be strategic modernization, culture reinforcement, and operational excellence. Thank you. I will introduce Carrie Ann Paulson, our corporate officer.
Thank you, Ms. Wood. Corporate Services had a very exciting year. We don't have as many flashy pictures as our communications department or nearly as exciting statistics as human resources. However, we did accomplish a huge project, which is our file migration. So a huge shout out to our IT department, who was instrumental in setting up this infrastructure, helping us with the planning and execution of the project, and all the departments in the organization have helped out with this. I also want to extend a very heartfelt thank you to Sherry Taylor, our records coordinator, who has been overseeing this project for the last 13 years, has pivoted immensely over different types of software, and persevered, and we finally accomplished this. So this is a project that's been 13 years in the making, and big thank you and congratulations to everyone involved. Our fourth quarter statistics are up on the slide in front of you. So Corporate Services coordinates the meeting agendas and minutes of council, assisting with coordinating the delegations and proclamations, notices of motion. And this year, we also helped coordinate the fees and charges bylaw update. So we've brought our fees that are charged by the district into more comparable rates, modernizing those. And the other item I'd like to highlight is the collaboration with the town of Gibsons and the Sunshine Coast Regional District on the accessibility, creation of the accessibility committee for the region, as well as the Sunshine Coast Regional Accessibility Plan. So the plan is actually now available on the SCRD's website, and we are looking for feedback on that. It's a part of the provincial requirement, as well as our commitment with the committee and as municipalities to continually improve our accessibility to the community in all different aspects of our work. So everything from communications to physical barriers and challenges, and we're always looking for new opportunities. So please spread the word. Visit the SCRD's Let's Talk, I'll say that again, Let's Talk page. And any feedback we can get would be greatly appreciated. Director Roberts also mentioned we have a new corporate officer. I'm very pleased to welcome Joanne Caldecott. She comes to us with over 15 years of experience in municipal and regional government work from central and northern BC. So welcome, Joanne. Here's some statistics from our Freedom of Information requests over the past year. And coming up, we are working towards the 2026 elections. So here's a few of the important dates. We'll have our nomination period kicking off September 1st. We will have 2 advanced voting days on October 7th and 14th, and then general voting will run the 17th, that's a Saturday, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Staff are also working on some pre-election workshops. So these will be available to the public thinking of running in the District of Sechelt election, and of course, a candidate information session. And with that, I will pass it over to our Manager of Community Services, Siobhan Smith.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Siobhan, Manager of Community Services. And our department is a department that touches so many aspects of daily life in Sechelt, from the public art and murals that spark conversations, to the community facilities and halls where we gather as a community, to the parks and trails that we maintain for current residents and future generations. So when I think about the goals and values in Council's strategic plan, values such as collaboration and creating a vibrant downtown, my mind immediately goes to all the community events that we support throughout the year. Whether it's supporting the Sechelt Farmers Market to remain in our downtown, adding vibrancy to this community, to the 9 weeks of concerts that we organize at our Hackett Park stage, to supporting a reconciliation canoe to lead the way in our Canada Day parade. These are all community activities and events that bring us together and that directly support Council's strategic goal of focusing on parks, arts, and recreation, and also bringing us together with a lens on parks and public spaces. And just while these events bring us together, we also value the places where these events and activities take place. And that's where our parks team was very focused and busy last year, 2025. Redoing the gardens around Municipal Hall, a lot of work in our Kinnickinnick Park trails to make them more accessible, redoing landscaping in a mindful way at our Wakefield lift station so that it better integrates our essential infrastructure into the beautiful landscape and the waterfront, and focusing on sports field maintenance and irrigation upgrades so that we can support Council's goal of being water-wise and conserving water for the coast. And as we enhance these spaces, we're thinking long-term about the environmental impact and stewardship. And caring for our natural environment continues to be a focus for our department. Last year, we enhanced our tree planting initiatives. We tended to pollinator-friendly gardens, and we worked with FireSmart to improve vegetation management at Brookman and Mission Point Park. You can see a before and after there in the slide. And these efforts directly support Council's strategic goals of focusing on climate change mitigation, adaptation, and preserving the natural environment. And just as we care for the natural environment, we also want to support our cultural and social well-being of our community. So through our arts programming and through our community investment program grants, we directly support local artists, nonprofits, and charitable organizations to do the essential work that they do, providing a variety of services and programs for our residents. In 2025, the CIP grant program issued $135,000 worth of grants to approximately 31 different community organizations, Behind every project and program grant that we completed last year was the dedicated team making it all happen. Every garden bed that was planted, every trail that was cleared, every event that was supported, there was a team behind that showed up every day with purpose and pride in the work that they do for our municipality. Their work is visible across Sechelt, and it impacts residents and visitors alike. As we look ahead, there's 2 major projects that are going to guide our team's next steps: the Regional Sports Field Strategy and the Community Services Master Plan. Both were launched in 2025 and will wrap up before the end of this year. Together, they'll help ensure that our services that we provide are coordinated, sustainable, and aligned with Council's long-term vision of managing our core services efficiently and responsibly. I'm really proud of the work that we did together in 2025, and I look forward to what we can make happen this year. Thank you very much, and I will pass it back to our fearless leader, Lindsay Roberts.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. I just wanted to wrap up by first saying thank you to our four very strong, visionary female leaders in this division. So I couldn't do the work that I do without them, and I'm very proud to have them on our team. In the fourth quarter, I just wanted to highlight a few things that did pop up as successes for us. That includes the municipal advisor, Ron Poole, who came to help us with our governance. Our weather-resistant park staff, doesn't matter what type of day it is, they're out there with smiles on their faces. Our external newsletter was launched, helping for transparency within the District of Sechelt, and our new hires that I spoke about at the beginning. Looking ahead, Ms. Polson spoke about our election year, where we're looking to put our recommendations into action between the CUF recommendations and Mr. Poole's recommendations. Really focusing in this last few months of this council term on community well-being and safety. And lastly, I wanted to mention the Community Services Master Plan. So that includes Parks Master Plan, but also we're really looking at how to utilize our outdoor spaces and provide more community service to the residents of Sechelt and to work with our regional partners on being more efficient in this area. So thank you again for this opportunity. We really appreciate your time, and I'm going to pass it over to our Director of Engineering, Ms. Lee.
Thank you. So speaking for Public Works, Wastewater and Engineering, we've had a year filled with change and growth as we've added new faces to our team and built on our internal capacity. We saw the completion of some key projects, essential maintenance, all while maintaining operations and planning for the future. So now we'll hear from our managers as they walk us through some of the key accomplishments and milestones for 2025. But to start us off is Public Works, and the new manager, Jody Barron of Public Works, can't be here today, so I will walk through his part of the presentation. Oops. There we go. So some highlights for a busy fourth quarter. There was, of course, the new Public Works manager in December. Public Works attended to a major diesel spill in West Porpoise Bay, and a substantial cleanup resulted in very minimal impacts to the surrounding community, so that went well. Camera inspections and line maintenance occurred for our sanitary sewer system, and the small paving program was completed in the fall, including asphalt patching and rain curb installations. And then, of course, the preparation for the winter operations, so that's maintenance of our snow removal and ice management systems, so the brining equipment and things like that in preparation for winter weather. There was also 1,733 service requests received by Public Works in 2025, so that both illustrates a high demand for service and a high level of service from our Public Works team. Next slide, please. So highlights for 2025. Public Works continued the in-house encampment work that occurs on Thursdays every week, and this is in collaboration with the RCMP, bylaws, and Rain City staff. And this work has resulted in a significant improvement in the high tide neighborhood. Next slide, please. Additionally, there was numerous sanitary sewer overflows or emergencies that occurred throughout the year. So you'll see on the right-hand side, this was an emergency that was repaired by Public Works in Windward Lane. You'll also probably remember the huge snow event in February of last year, so where Public Works responded 24 hours a day for a number of days for snow removal in that significant storm event. And then additionally, response to flooding issues throughout the year, and you'll see on the left-hand side a culvert replacement that occurred on Bell Road, and this diverted water away from a private property and fixed the flooding issue there. So looking forward to 2026, Public Works will continue to prioritize proactive maintenance of our infrastructure. There are planned initiatives for the end-of-life culvert replacements. So this is in response to a culvert inspection program that occurred over 2025 and 2024, and prioritizing the worst culverts that were identified. There'll be the implementation of a strategic ditching program to clean ditches out proactively, expanding the collections system maintenance program, and working towards achieving the OCP certifications for public works staff so that we can build our internal capacity for sanitary sewer maintenance work. And thank you very much, and I'll pass it off to Christine Miller, Manager of Wastewater.
I'm Christine Miller, Manager Wastewater. The wastewater team is responsible for the safe and reliable operation of 9 sanitary sewer lift stations, the Water Resource Center, and the Dusty Road Septage Receiving Facility. This is critical infrastructure that protects public health and the environment. Much of this work happens behind the scenes. Our dedicated operators are the professionals who keep the system running safely and reliably, from daily monitoring and maintenance to rapid response when alarms or emergencies occur. On average, the lift stations and gravity collection system convey approximately 2,200 cubic meters of wastewater every day to the Water Resource Center for treatment. That's roughly the equivalent of 1 Olympic-sized swimming pool, just to put it in perspective. The Dusty Road Septage Receiving Facility processes approximately 100 cubic meters of septage each week. This service supports local governments, businesses, and residents while protecting the wastewater treatment system. Recruitment of certified wastewater operators has historically been challenging. In 2025, however, the department successfully welcomed 3 new operators. As a result, operational training was a major focus throughout the year, and by the 4th quarter, all 3 new staff members successfully completed certification exams, 2 achieving wastewater treatment operator level 1 certification and 1 achieving level 3 certification. In addition to day-to-day operations and maintenance, the wastewater team also contributed to a number of projects in 2025. Oh, somebody did that for me, and I just changed it. Thank you, Carrie Ann. One key milestone was the commissioning of the new Wakefield lift station. On March 13th, the pumps at the former station were permanently shut down, retiring the aging infrastructure. Another project involved the installation of a marine notification sign near the Mackenzie lift station. The sign brings marine notification into compliance and identifies the pressure main located beneath Porpoise Bay, reducing the risk of anchor damage to critical wastewater infrastructure. While modest in appearance, this project required detailed engineering design, regulatory review, and coordinated planning. It was delivered through collaboration between Parks, Public Works, and wastewater staff. And that last picture there, in accordance with the municipal wastewater regulation, operators conducted receiving environment monitoring in February and August. This monitoring is completed twice annually, once in the winter and once in the summer, with samples collected from multiple locations in Trail Bay. Next slide, please. Thank you. What you see here is a lift station that has a lot of grease in it before and then cleaned out after. A grease awareness initiative was also completed in 2025 to address the impacts of fats, oils, and grease, often referred to as fog, and the communication manager had already spoke about this as well. When poured down drains, fog can solidify and cause pipe blockages, backups, increased maintenance costs, and environmental risks. A new grease awareness webpage is now live on the District Shelt website supporting community education. In support of future septage receiving needs, a septage dewatering trial began in August at the Dusty Road facility. This small-scale trial was designed to assess pumping requirements and dewatering timelines. Results to date have been positive and will help inform future site improvements. Looking ahead to 2026, our work will continue to be guided by worker and community safety, environmental stewardship, and responsible asset management. These priorities will support ongoing operational objectives, key Water Resource Center capital projects, and planning for future septage receiving needs. That's it, and I would like to introduce Sanath Bandera, Manager of Engineering Services.
Thank you. I am Sanat Bandara, Manager of Engineering Services. I'm here to do some few overview regarding the capital works we have completed and what we are going to do next. On this slide, we can see that some of the pictures, the highlights that include the waterfront pathway widening between Inlet Avenue and Wharf Avenue. Other picture is that we have completed the Wakefield culvert. We can see in the very bottom left what was happened is crush that the old culvert, and we have completed a new culvert with concrete. That is the second picture with the construction work, and the third one is recently there was a storm outfall failure resulted in driveway undermining, and so we have done temporary outfall installation on the right corner. Is that's the temperature, temporary outfall infrastructure. This is a 2025 achievement, what we have done. So along the waterfront, we completed the design for widening the waterfront walkway as mentioned before. And also we have completed the multi-use pathway on Reef Road between Emerson Road and Crowston, providing a safe and accessible route for both pedestrian and cyclist. For this segment, we used hybrid construction model, combining the expertise of public works, parks, and the local contractors. This allowed us to address environmental, geotechnical, and accessibility challenges effectively. Funding is already secured to complete the remaining 390 meters between Mason Road and Emerson Road in early 2026, which will fully connected the pathway after that. And also we have completed the district-wide road scanning program and develop a pavement management plan by assessing road condition across the district. We now have a data-driven tool to plan and prioritize our annual paving program, keeping our roads safe and good condition. So these projects highlights our commitment to proactive planning, improved connectivity, and the ongoing safety and well-being of our community. This is related to Q4, as noted previously. On the left side picture on top is that before we started the work between on Reeves Road, between Crowston and Emerson Road. The right-hand side one is a completed one, which include road surfacing and culvert construction. On the Wakefield, that's below, left-hand side, what was in the before, and the right-hand side, once we completed the culvert and the roadway, and we improved the roadway alignment and safety enhancement. This is the emergency outfall that we have repaired, that there's a end of last year, just before the Christmas. You can see that on the top right, the driveway failed. Underneath the driveway, the existing outfall, the old one, and is completely eroded and underneath of the area and then cracks. And the bottom one is that we dewatered and during our bypass pipe work. So you can see looking for the 2026 project. So you can see that our manholes on the right-hand side, the video, you can see that how is vulnerable is now, failing, that we are going to replace on Mermaid Street, that culvert. That manholes. So there's 3 manholes we are going to replace. The tender is completed and we are going to start the work 2026 April. On the left-hand side, that is our paving program. We have selected this year 6 roads complete. We have completed the tender now. And the construction is going to start April and May, sometimes until June to complete the total paving program. The total length of the paving approximately length is 2.5 kilometers from various locations. And this represents the largest paving budget in the district of Seychelles history, about nearly 1.5, 1.6 million. The other one is on the right-hand side, the Sandhook road failure that we are going to do geotechnical investigation for this next month to determine the vulnerability and find the solution to improve drainage and the current failure to rectify that. On the left-hand side is a waterfront pathway widening. So we have completed the design and we are putting up the tender out. Expectation is mid of this year to complete that project. Thank you to all department for the collaboration to support, and that is the end of my presentation. I will pass on to Adam Bullock, who is a manager of development engineering. Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Adam Bullock. I'm the manager of development engineering. Being an approving authority, it's a little challenging to point out some of our specific accomplishments in development engineering. Our primary role is to support and guide developments through the approval process for their servicing applications. So we're often dependent on the work of other organizations and other groups to see accomplishments throughout the District of Sechelt. Internally, we do put our efforts towards providing good public service through a variety of ways to support development in the District of Sechelt. I'm just going to highlight a few of those ways that we continue to do this throughout the year last year and a few milestones that we saw as we wrapped up 2025. So to support development in the district, we continue to work collaboratively with our other departments like the planning department and the building department to discuss site servicing and access requirements and frontage upgrades for developments, either at the pre-application stages for new rezones, subdivisions, and development permit applications, and then also building permits for new house builds. We continue to perform regular site inspections for the active construction throughout the district, being completed by developments, civil contractors for their required upgrades. We also attended recently the pre-construction meeting for the offsite civil works for the community services new development on Lid Avenue, which is scheduled to start this month. We're also active with reviewing and providing comments on servicing agreement applications and drawing submissions for upcoming developments, site servicing and frontage upgrades, including the progression of the Shorncliffe development, the Solace development to a servicing agreement execution stage. So we're looking forward to seeing that move forward. We also wrapped up a new strata subdivision in 2025 by issuing the certificate of substantial completion, and that would be for the extension of Salal Road in Davis Bay between Chapman Road and Ridgeview Drive. Lastly, we continued to coordinate with our district's neighboring jurisdictions such as Ministry of Transportation and the SCRD to coordinate our overlapping infrastructure and gaining improvements throughout the district with ongoing development. Looking ahead as we move forward into 2026, we're looking forward to continue working with our partners in the building and planning department to make sure property owners within the District of Sechelt construct quality services and improve our public systems through building and development. We look to continue to have a presence in the field for ongoing construction works that are being tied to development. While we rely on the professionals of the construction team to oversee the work, we do oversee the overall progress of the projects, how they interact with their neighbors, to make sure that the developments move ahead in a reasonable, safe, and responsible way. We also look to continue improving our servicing agreement review and approval process, just by setting clearer expectations for developers at an earlier stage, consistently applying our design criteria and offering fair and reasonable comments on design submissions. This will mean more communication with our neighbors like Ministry of Transportation and the SCRD for their own servicing needs and understanding their processes better. We're also reviewing our current development and control bylaw, 430, for areas that we can improve our processes to bring our design criteria up to current industry standards. And also set clear expectations for developers and their professionals so they can have a better understanding at a pre-development or pre-application stage all the way through to acceptance of the constructed works. So we're really hoping that a fair and reasonable approach to development will help shorten approval timelines and encourage developers to continue working within the District of Sechelt. All right. Just going to take a quick moment as well to talk about some accomplishments and new initiatives that were taken over the last year in the district for solid waste management. We fall under the SCRD's umbrella for their solid waste management plan, but we are responsible for solid waste collection. Just in the past year, for collection within the District of Sechelt, we collected 950 tons of mixed solid waste, so it would be garbage, 544 tons of recyclables, and 908 tons of organics and yard waste. I don't have the previous year's data in front of me, but the data does show that we have improving trends towards diverting waste away from our landfill and more towards sustainable alternatives such as the green waste, organic initiatives, and recycling. We've also taken steps to improve our collections. So our collections contractor, Waste Management, has been proactive with improving their times and punctuality for all their collections and their collection schedules. As Lindsay Vickers mentioned earlier, we did implement a bear-resistant bin pilot program for residents. It was first launched for our more rural areas where we see more wildlife activity, which was later expanded to the entirety of the District of Sechelt, hoping to create a little more security against the wildlife in the district. We also work ongoing with our contractor to collect their to track their collections and report their data, such as the waste volumes and greenhouse gas emissions. We report them to our partners at the SCRD, who manages our landfill, Recycle BC, who repurposes our recyclables, and the province as part of the local government climate action plan. So they track our GHG greenhouse gas emissions. These partners and our relationships with them help improve sustainability in the District of Sechelt. It's also a way to capitalize on some of their financial incentives, just to give the best levels of service to our residents. The regional district is undergoing an update to their solid waste management plan, which we are a participant of and a stakeholder in. So we were active in representing the District of Sechelt for their updates, and we're looking forward to working with them as they move forward throughout this next year. Looking ahead to our next year as well, we're going to be renewing our 5-year collections contract. That'll be going out for RFP in the upcoming months, just to continue providing the collections to our residents. Internally, we're also looking to develop an education program just to help spread the word of our efforts with waste collection, hoping to continue to see success in diverting waste away from our struggling landfill and towards more environmentally friendly uses. And thank you very much for your time. I'll pass it off to Julie Mares, Manager of Capital Projects.
Hi, everyone. Going on script today. Hope you don't mind. On the first slide here, you'll see, on this slide, you can see a snapshot of several major projects, capitals completed this year. It was a great year for infrastructure delivery across the district. These projects included the Mission Davis Bay and Robertson House septic system, the Friendship Park washroom remediation, the Wakefield lift station completion, the Hackett Park basketball revitalization, Phase 1 of the library and district hall remediation, and the Hilltop emergency repairs. Each project represents significant coordination between engineering, public works, our contractors, finance, and parks. Additionally, these projects have strengthened our assets and modernized aging infrastructure, ensuring that our resources remain efficient and effective for future community needs. In 2025, comprehensive accessibility assessments were conducted across district facilities and public spaces. These assessments played a critical role in identifying areas where improvements were needed to ensure all residents and visitors can safely and comfortably access our infrastructure. By understanding these needs, we were able to prioritize upgrades and lay the foundation for the projects that enhance mobility throughout the community. The insights gained have positioned us to make significant and meaningful progress on accessibility improvements in this upcoming year. While we delivered a substantial number of capital projects in 2025, an equally important story is the progress made in asset management. We continue strengthening our asset report cards, condition assessments, and life cycle strategies. The behind-the-scenes work often isn't as visible as construction, but is essential. Strong asset management helps us prioritize investments, improve budgeting, accuracy, and ensure that every dollar we spend creates long-term value. Together, the projects we built and the systems we strengthened put us in a much better position for the next year ahead. Looking ahead in 2026 is shaping up to be another major year for capital works. The slide highlights some of the key projects scheduled to move forward. These projects touch every corner of the community. Includes the Davis Bay washroom, Seaside roof, the next phase of the District Hall and Library remediation project, Cook Creek and Ergens Creek culvert, the Hackett Park accessibility upgrades. Much of the design and planning work completed in 2025 sets us up for a strong start of the year. We will continue to focus on responsible project management, open communication, and ensuring our capital program aligns with council's priorities and community needs. Throughout all these efforts, we remain mindful on the budget that we carefully secured through the public project process, ensuring transparency and fiscal responsibility. In addition to these initiatives, we will also see a renewed focus on archaeology across the district. Planned archaeology assessments and preventative efforts will be ensured to develop. We protect and honor Shechelle, heritage, and protocol. It's going to be a very active year, and we're excited to deliver these projects, and we thank everyone that helped us in 2025. Thank you.
So I'd just like to say I'm really proud of the work we've accomplished in 2025 and the level of service that our team's been able to deliver, our ability to adapt and respond to new challenges and needs in the community. Looking forward to 2026, where we'll continue to prioritize reliability, capacity building, and strategic project delivery. Looking forward to moving our projects from the planning to the delivery stage, and then the ongoing strengthening of our systems and processes. And with that, I'll hand it off to IT and Finance.
Thank you. Now we get to the exciting stuff. Okay, so just a little review overall, a little bit of a global review. So finance, IT, we also participate in the airport administration, and we're heavily involved in procurement with the other departments. We presented in late 2025 the 2026 budget to council, December 17th. And during the year, we were involved with the airport master plan that was completed. We were involved in over 20 procurements, one of the larger ones within the district. Our IT department helped complete a number of district projects with other departments. And the finance team successfully submitted statutory reports and information to the provincial and federal governments by their deadlines. And I'm going to introduce Beverly Smith to go over some items of finance.
Thank you. Good afternoon. So I wanted to give you an update on 3 projects that the finance team are working on in Q4 of 2025, and plus a short audit update too. So the first project I want to talk about is new budget software. So this has been a significant shift for us, an overall positive one. We've moved away from budgets living in spreadsheets, emails, and in-person meetings. Instead, teams are working together, sharing one budget platform in real time. Now it's easier to see where budgets stand and understand changes as they happen. We're already seeing better visibility, fewer version issues, and a smoother budget discussion. Over time, we should also see improved forecasting, reporting, and reduce administrative effort. Ultimately, it allows us to spend less time managing files and more time supporting good decision-making. The second project that we worked on, not that we just did 3, this is just the 3 top ones. The second one was procurement buying groups. Last year, we joined 2 procurement buying groups, and we're already seeing tangible benefits from these partnerships. These groups give us access to pre-negotiated contracts and preferred vendors. It helps simplifies purchasing and also provides cost savings. Over time, staff should see a more streamlined process, clear options, and fewer obstacles when purchasing goods, also while remaining compliant with trade agreements and our internal policies. It also improves consistency, vendor relationships, and oversight, and especially easier to purchase common supplies and project-based purchases. The third project I want to talk about is automating manual processes. So we've been focusing on automating manual time-consuming processes last year. The goal is to make things easier for both staff and for community members when completing forms and submitting requests to us. Forms continue to move online and they're easier to find, to complete, and to submit. This also improves how staff access, review, and share information internally. A couple examples is the permissive tax exemption applications and the Community Association capital project submissions. Automating these processes reduces processing time and improves consistency. Other key examples is the corporate visa reconciliation. Previously, we've relied on emails, spreadsheets, and manual follow-up for staff, and our new workflow will centralize this whole process and streamline the approvals. And at this moment, it's being tested, and we're hoping to have it launched next month. And then finally, I'd like to give a short update on our 2025 audit. So we initiated our 2025 audit process in November. That includes the completion of an interim audit, which is the first phase of our year-end audit process. The interim audit focuses on reviewing the third quarter working papers, update control processes, and does a controlled walkthrough. And what that means is the auditors and staff go through a step-by-step explanation of our internal procedures to ensure that we're in compliance. So the auditors examine this work and confirm continued compliance with policies and procedures. And starting this work early helps reduce pressure at our year end and supports a smoother audit overall. And that's it. And I'd like to pass it over to our Manager of Information Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm just going to go over Q4 2025 main IT highlights. There's a lot of accomplishments for us working with a lot of different departments. The audio video upgrade on Seaside Center was a big accomplishment that we collaborated with several different departments. The system needed a full overview update from a new projector, a bigger projector screen, new mics, new speakers, a display that makes things a lot easier. Basically, you're pressing start, everything comes down. We just had the RCMP in there. They loved the event rental space. They said it was really easy to use and the quality of the system was great. So we've been getting a lot of good feedback. I'd just like to say it's, like I said, it's a collaboration project with staff like Lucy and Andy Evans. So kudos to them. The other project we worked on was our boardrooms from the WRC boardroom, the Operations Center boardroom, and the conference room up in Municipal Hall here. We needed to upgrade those systems. We put in what's called a Teams room system, basically enhancing our hybrid meetings and the quality of how staff can run their meetings. Basically, every system is exactly the same. So eventually, over time, staff will feel very comfortable using the systems, whether they go to the Ops Center or WRC or the conference room. A lot of times IT is very challenging for a lot of people. So hopefully this is a comfort zone for them moving forward. Some other project we've worked on is in IT, we're really focusing on automation. Automation projects using Microsoft 365, using Microsoft Forms to pull in data, and then basically to use what's called Microsoft Automate to automate that data into a database instead of having our staff having to data enter it in manually. This allows departments to streamline their workflow and eliminate manual processes, allowing for a lot of efficiencies moving forward for all these departments. We're also looking at using AI. Obviously, AI is very big now, so we're using AI, we're researching AI, looking at how we can deploy AI in a lot of these projects. Once again, collaboration is big, working with all the departments from an IT perspective. The other aspect that we've been focusing a lot in Q4, but also the entire 2025, and we'll be continuing to work on in 2026, is training. Focusing on training with Microsoft 365, like such things as tips and tricks for Word, Outlook, Excel, PowerPoint, etc. Also focusing on AI. How can AI help? With Microsoft has a tool called Microsoft Copilot that's embedded in all these different applications. So we've been using training to help staff learn of ways to become more efficient, to increase productivity. And as you increase, we were talking about help eliminate routine tasks for staff and focus on high value tasks. So that's one of our big goals from 2025 and moving forward in 2026. Every IT department, a big focus is cybersecurity. No different year for the District of Sechelt. We have what's called the WISER training program, helping educate our staff, not just past years, but for the last 7 years. I think it's been in our programs, pushing out 1-2-minute videos, educating staff on what not to do when it comes to clicking on emails for spam and phishing, etc. We also have what's called a quarterly network test. It's basically a simulation of hacking our system and basically trying to see where our vulnerabilities are in our network and how do we secure that and what are our critical tasks that we need to clean up. I will say our system's very secure and we're looking great right now, so nothing to worry about. A stat that I thought was pretty helpful to share was we've blocked 25,000 emails, which are spam in just Q4. So I know a lot of you guys do get a lot of spam. We can't block all spam. Technology is changing. Hackers are using AI. But 25,000 shows us a lot that is being blocked. That being said, those are kind of our main highlights from 2025 Q4. Some key themes that you see, not just here in IT, but probably for the whole organization, is collaboration. In IT, automation projects. Our goal in IT is to work with every department and help with efficiencies and productivity. If we can help staff do things a lot faster and push things out, that's great. We are a Microsoft shop, and because we're paying for Microsoft licenses and all our solutions, we're always looking to Microsoft first. It is a great product, and it's always updating and changing. So far, we're pretty happy with where we are with Microsoft. And as I mentioned, when it comes to AI, AI is a big thing. AI agents are a big thing. AI actions are a big thing. These are things you'll hear more and more about. But with Microsoft, our data is protected, and we're pretty secure when it comes to, as a municipality, we're always dealing with privacy issues. So because everything stays in our network, we're looking good in 2026. So that's the main highlights for IT. I'll just like to pass back on to Director Douglas. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So just looking ahead a little bit, so we are working to finalize the 5-year financial plan. That'll happen in the next number of months. With that goes preparing bylaws to go with that 5-year financial plan. We continue to try to advance our digital service delivery through enhancing of online tools such as Report a Problem, expand the use of integrated systems like our fleet management or fleet tracking software, and other internal reporting. We continue to evaluate and potentially expand our M365 co-pilot project, where we have a number of staff that are using AI, and we're slowly expanding that throughout the last year and further into this year. We've done, as Hash mentioned, we've done a significant amount of Microsoft training, and we will continue to do that so we can utilize all the tools that Microsoft has to offer. And procurement, the procurement area will continue to support the upcoming capital plan and be involved with the larger procurements in 2026. Thank you.
Okay, hi folks. The final division of the presentation, the Planning and Development Division, and this includes the Development Services, also known as the Planning Department, the Building Department, and Bylaw Enforcement. So there's the 3 components to our division. We work closely with one another and with everybody who you've heard spoken so far. Unfortunately, Mr. Nias, James Nias, our Chief Building Official, is unable to attend today, so I'll run through some of the building and bylaw information right after Mr. Hall here talks about the planning part. But as a whole, you'll see we've took a picture of each of these 3 key buildings once a quarter, and they assembled them for a year end to see the progress. So that's been interesting, special for us to watch these particular key projects in our downtown core progress. But we're also doing longer range planning, collaborating, working with, and taking a lead on climate action and flood hazard study with SCRD, working on our community land development analysis and our official community plan. So there's lots happening. I'll pass it over to Ian. He'll come up and discuss the planning end of things. Thank you.
Hello. So as Director Allen mentioned, there's a bunch of different policy projects as well as development projects on the go. Obviously, and over the last year, we were working on the community land development analysis, and that will feed into the official community plan update. And that sort of will build on a lot of the policy changes over the last year and into the next year. At the same time, dealing with all sorts of development applications, including some larger ones that are getting into amendments to the official community plan. Everything from sort of downtown apartment-related developments to smaller projects. And as was also mentioned, a variety of climate action-related projects. The work with the SCRD and Gibson's on the regional flood hazard study. Things that will also lead into the next years of, as we look at potential for further projects and investigation. One thing that certainly was done a lot of work in the last year, but hopefully starting in a little while, We've got just across the school here on Shorncliffe, the first building. We'll potentially be getting a building permit issued pretty soon. But the two apartment buildings for the Solus project, as another apartment building in the downtown. On the smaller scale side, we have the Clever Cup childcare project on Cowrie Street. This is something that council approved a development permit and development variance permit actually several years ago. They went away. It seemed like they actually weren't going to do the project, but they've come back more recently. And they've been actively working on renovating the buildings to turn it into the childcare project with trying to reuse the existing buildings and develop the outdoor spaces as required. And then kitty corner to Municipal Hall, we have this Tibetan Buddhist Meditation Center. So council approved a development permit for that project. They've obviously demolished the existing buildings on site. And their next step would be to go through the building permit process to start construction. And then we have the Trail Bay Mall. Again, council considered a relatively minor development permit. There's some exterior changes, there's lots of interior changes. We've had the development variance permit for the 3 signs for different businesses. So there's a lot happening there. And that's it. I mean, I'll turn it back to Director Allen for the exciting world of statistics on building permits and money.
Yeah, thank you. This one does not come complete with images, but I wanted to show some of the trends, the assessed value of construction. You can see 2023 was a spike, for example, and that would coincide with the issuance of TELUS Living Green Court. 2026, which isn't here yet, will show the Solus building that Ian just referred to. So the average is somewhere around the mid $40 million in increase in assessed value per construction each year, with last year, or previously, year before, I should say, 2024 being a bit of a dip. But nonetheless, they're steady, and last year, 2025, was right around average. So building and development does continue. Then you see development permits. Now, development permits could be everything from the daycare or the Buddhist site that Ian just referred to, but a lot of our development permits are for geotechnical concerns, steep slope. We have quite a few number of houses that have been constructed in Sandy Hook and Tewanek over the last couple of years. Those take a lot of effort and time on our account. We have retaining walls, we have stormwater management, we're working with engineers, homeowners and builders, and in many cases next door neighbors when it comes to excavations and groundwater management on these properties. It can be challenging. And so we do the best we can to keep ahead of that. And we've developed a good system that works for us in terms of tracking and implementing conditions of development permits. And then you can see building permits issued. Pardon me. So this one's interesting because it does fluctuate a little bit. But if we were to, like, Silverstone Heights Phase 1 and Phase 2, for example, let's say those are 57 single family homes, that's 57 building permits. But TELUS Living, which has 57 rental units, is 1 building permit. So sometimes the number of building permits doesn't always tell the story, but nonetheless, you can see that the numbers there relatively steady, ranging from 180 in 2021 at our high point there. But is not numbers can be subjective in some regard, but that combined with assessed value and development permits is just meant to show that development trends continue and are steady and stable within Sechelt in a 5-year trend. And then this just shows it a little bit more. I think there you see 2023, the higher year, and you can see 2025 where we were in relation to average just slightly below. But of course, that 2023 was a little bit of an anomaly and changed the average to some degree. And then development permits. Again, development permits, not every building permit requires a development permit, but they're most often used, as I say, for form and character or for geotechnical. But the development permit is often the bridge between the final building permit and the servicing agreement for the offsite improvements and connections. And the development permit allows that hub. It's the file management process to coordinate with engineering, to coordinate with building, to set the stage for easier applications down the line. And it a key role that our planners undertake across the spectrum of applications. Now, short-term rentals is another thing. This has remained steady. I think you can see that the average is a little over 122. So we didn't go for the full 5 years here because of the regime change, not only with our bylaw amendments late 2022, but also with the provincial regulations, which mirrored our bylaw amendments respecting whole home rentals, or no longer permitting whole home rentals. But we have over 122 business licenses, and this would be a bedroom in a house, a suite upstairs or downstairs, a cottage, and this checks out with the taxation received through the municipal regional destination tax that the SCRD has received, and the flows have remained steady, and the tourism component here shows that people are still coming to Sechelt, and we're issuing licenses. We've been able to create a better tracking system since our new bylaw was amended late 2022, and in particular with both short-term rentals and business licenses, we have been utilizing better software through the SharePoint program to provide tracking for us internally, to make renewals easier, to make new applications easier. We found some great gains and great successes, and hoping in the quarters ahead in 2026, we can continue to report out further on that. One more slide, the next one, please. And so this just shows some of the numbers, shows our building permit application fees over $400,000 last year. And our inspectors conducted 1,577 building inspections. And 87 new business licenses issued. That doesn't include the rollover, but sometimes business licenses are canceled when somebody like the land surveyor who used to be across the road retires, or people move out of town. But that's 87 new licenses that were added to the program last year. And you can see that we do issue bylaw fines, approximately one a day for the entire year. But we receive a number of complaints on all topics, from zoning to parking to noise to garbage to crime-related things that aren't necessarily in our bailiwick. But we have enhanced our involvement with community safety. We have made it every gains we can to make it easier to contact our officers. We do have at least one person each day of the week, so we have 7-day-a-week coverage, as council well knows, and that reflects in the numbers there as well. And now we've made a shift not only in software with business licenses, but also with how we review those, and our bylaw team is taking the lead on that. So we do have the 3 officers. They were that was supplemented in part to manage the short-term rental, which we've relied on them greatly. Final slide. Just the final image here, and we relied on the bylaw officers greatly to even out the short-term rental review and help the planning department with that. And now they are now taking the lead on business license, new applications, intake, creating that point of contact with folks to help out reception, to help out planning, and we're seeing an efficiency of renewals and issuing of new business licenses. And again, as we go through the next 3 quarters of this year, we'll be pleased to report back further on that. Thank you. Pardon me, I thought I was on the last slide. 2 images just to finish it. This is the Telus Marina and the Sea Breeze restaurant. Soft opening expected as soon as early next month. There will still be some landscaping and external work to be done, but provided they have suitable parking and in particular access for first responders and safety right to the building, then they are very, very close to opening up. And then the final one, this is on Rosebud Drive in Rippleway below Fairway Avenue. And I think we've showed this before, but just to show it again to conclude, an example of the small scale multi-unit housing that the province has requested municipalities do. So you can see it is a 3-story building, but the first level being enclosed parking with 2 levels of living. And so we have another one under construction and a few irons in the fire in terms of people inquiring, and we may see more in 2026. Thank you.
Thank you. Facebook's been wondering when that restaurant's going to open, so thank you for that. On behalf of everybody, thank you for that very comprehensive presentation. So we'll go to council for questions, and given our agenda and time, I would ask that the questions are tight and tied to the items presented to us. Councillor Inkster.
Yeah, just say a quick few things. Thank you, Chair. Just the highlights for me is the culvert replacement. It's really good for water control because I always worry when we have heavy rainfalls. Environmental stewardship that I think we always need to do more. Continuing to do more going forward, and the tree planting, which is also to do with beautification, but water. And just two quick questions for the planner. Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just a clarification on the STRs. It sounds like there was no decline in STRs is what the planner said. And I just wanted to ask if the TELUS building restaurant that he referenced will be an exterior or interior tour.
Go ahead.
Thank you. So the first question was regarding short-term rentals. We intentionally just took the 3-year sample because the data previous was not reliable enough because most of the operations were not licensed before the bylaw amendment. So in the 3 years since we have amended our bylaw and the province has followed suit with similar regulations, the numbers are steady. Yes, a little over 123, and we should have a better information on that by the end of first quarter as well, because most of the applications, renewals, and new licenses are in the month of January and February. And respecting tours, I endeavored to find a way to work with the applicants to provide a nice, suitable, warm, and interior tour for council, and I will report back as soon as I can. Thank you.
Anything else, council? Down this way? Need anything down here? Councillor McLaughlin?
No real questions. Thank you through the chair. Just a thank you to everybody for presenting. I think it shows the breadth of the work. It kind of reminds me of what we've been doing the last year, and it just especially goes to show, well, the operations budget as well as the capital, but especially the operations budget. There's an army of people working to make those dollars well worthwhile. So I just hope that that is what is the message that comes through. Thank you.
Yes, I always like to say they make us look good. So, and we don't celebrate enough. We get mired down in the negative. So thank you for that very positive presentation. And seeing no more questions then, we will move on to what was 5.1, now 5.2. Director Allen.
Sure. Thank you, Chair. This is somewhat unusual. It's a bit of a new process for this group, and allow me, if I may, to explain it. So it is a development application for some townhomes, pardon me while I put my glasses on, 63 townhomes at 5926 Shoal Way, Shoal Way being the frontage of the site. It's been to council in the past. It's been to the Advisory Planning Commission as well. And in between those meetings, staff and the applicants worked together on refinements of site plans and layouts. We came to a point where we believe there's a policy decision to be made, and that's for council to do so. So we've talked about this in the past, the checks and balances of the system. What decisions do staff make? When do we provide information to council for council to make decision? And so we thought it might be challenging to do that in the middle of trying to decide if this bylaw amendment receives further readings, and also the road layout as it is really does dictate or determine next steps. And so we thought it would be an appropriate time to check in with council and seek some guidance. So in this particular case, or in all cases with subdivision, Section 75 of the Land Title Act, which has been in force for 130 years, roughly, since the early 1900s, says that all properties created by subdivision have to have road access to them, as well as access to lands beyond. And that's fundamentally how road networks get built. I know that if you peel it back in Sechelt, a lot of roads are old logging roads and so forth. But in terms of the municipal road system, they are accumulated through subdivision. So in this case, we are seeking a road access that will connect Reef Road to what essentially is South Gale. And so the road, they're continuous, but they would have different road names. And so for argument's sake here, we'll call it South Gale. So we're seeking a road through the property, but there is a road allowance along the boundary of the site that was established in the 1990s, but it's deemed to be no longer functional to service the development on this site and lands beyond. Ergo, we're seeking a road through the middle of the site, which you can see there are a number of maps embedded in the document. The base map is on page 5 of your agenda, but the more detailed road alignments start on page 6. And so ultimately, the policy question here is what to do with the smaller, I believe it's a 10-meter portion of road, what to do with that 10-meter portion of the road. So as outlined here, the options are to do a land swap, close that road, add it to the subject parcel in exchange for the road dedication through. So the road dedication through would be at least 20 meters, and that's at 10 meters. So it does account as a net gain to the district, but it's not a real estate holding per se. It is a road, but it would become public property. The second option would be to require that the landowner purchase it from the District of Sechelt, in addition to granting us road dedication through the site. And the third and final option would be to seek road dedication through the site and not close that portion of the road and keep it. So in terms of these choices, there isn't a right or wrong answer, and I've confirmed this with our legal counsel just to ensure we're on solid ground. There are right and wrong steps to do later on once a decision has been made in terms of creating bylaws for road closures and notifications, and we've done that before and we'll follow the process. This report outlines a few comparables. The comparables also indicate where we have traded, where we have sold, and explains why. So there are options. Our recommendation is option 1, which would be the land swap, but recognizing that ultimately it's a council policy decision, but we're hoping to put this information here for you. Any decision today guides next steps, and I want to clarify that that does not mean that this development is approved today. It just helps staff and the applicants decide how to take next steps. And should the result be favorable and the application continue, we will come back to council at a yet to be scheduled time with a bylaw amendment of here's how the road network worked out. This is what it means for the development and the density and the setbacks and all the nuts and bolts of zoning regulation. So at this point, to say it again a second time, is not to approve the development, but to make a policy decision to guide us on next steps through the review process. And thank you for that.
All right, thank you. Questions, Councillor, Councillor Toth and Councillor Inkster.
Thank you. I guess looking at the map on page 6 of the agenda package, I guess the question I've got is, does 5960, the lot next door, need to be subdivided with that future dedication before we can actually get some sort of a road connection through to the next parcel? Or is there enough width within the 20 meters to get anything through on the corner of that property? The question I'm getting at basically is, are we building a road to nowhere until the neighbor subdivides? Thanks.
Yes, thank you for the question and through the chair. There is a 10-meter dedication that does exist, so that is enough to create a connection. It would be a temporary connection if that's the route that we went. That would be then built out when that dedication was given. So functionally, yes, you could have a 2-lane road through a 10-meter dedication, but there wouldn't be space for sidewalks or other facilities. And then we do already have the dedication beyond that connects to Ripple Way. So that exists already. Thanks.
Thank you. Is that good? Good. Councillor Inkster?
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Just a clarification through you to planning, based on the information presented and the comparison of the two roads, the one that would be swapped for the other, is there there's no net loss to the particular development of land? It's just a clear swap, the same size for the same size? Thanks.
It would be a net loss to the development because we're asking for a 20-meter dedication, and the dedication that was previously taken off of the site in the 1990s is 10 meters. That said, it can be considered a fair swap because, as I said at the outset, when you're subdividing, you do have to dedicate road regardless. So it's not an undue ask just to seek a 20-meter road dedication through the site. It's just about the two roads and the fairness of that and the equitability and the functionality of the original road. So it's a net gain for the district. a net loss of 10 meters of width for the property owner and applicant.
You good? Councillor McLaughlin?
Thank you, through the chair. I'm just looking at my Google map here, and I've always been concerned about the overall planning. I'm just taking a more holistic approach. And I just feel right now that Gale Avenue kind of goes nowhere. And it's not the primary road I would take there. People take Fairway, but I really don't like the way you have to go down Jewel Way and then make that big turn to go up Fairway. I mean, for a small rural community, okay, but if this area does get developed longer term, I think that's a real problematic intersection. And so just building a road system to suit this development, I really don't feel it's really performing much function except helping the developer build what they want to build there. Now, it's too bad we didn't have more foresight in terms of the other parcels, how the overall transportation will go. I know they're making reference to the draft transportation plan, which I see now is online, but I'm just, I'm not totally convinced that this is the way to go. I would have thought that they would not say, well, if we don't get this, we don't have a viable project. I mean, I would hope when they start off, they know they have a viable project. They're getting a lot of units out of a relatively small rural piece of land. So I just have concerns that, you know, it's not really a great way to go. But the alternative is to not let them develop there and wait till we can come up with something better for that area. And it doesn't appear then that they can just have a driveway into their development and that's it. They want a whole roadway that links up. So is that the case? Because that's sort of what I thought they would do at the beginning. Thanks.
Thank you. So it's in the benefit of the overall road network to make this connection road to continue Reef Road through to Ripple Way. And in this area, there isn't a specific high-level collector road or a good corridor for that. So the strategy for accessing this area would be to perforate the neighborhood with more connections as opposed to a single substantial connection. So this connection is important in terms of creating more ways in and out of this neighborhood. So it is in the benefit of the future road connection to keep this, to continue this road connection forward. So beyond the development, it's something that we would want for our road network. That answers.
Do you have a question, Diane?
Well, I
Councillor?
guess the question is what is the term? Like, how long would it take for, you know, the development of those other parcels nearby? If it's within a medium term, I can see it. But if it's just long term, you're building a road that's not really going to connect.
So we already have the road dedication that goes north of there. So really the only missing piece is that slice, the 10-meter slice along the adjacent property. So whether that's obtained through future development or through another method of property negotiation to construct the road, there's options there for making that full connection. And so part of that would be how do we both get the road dedication and fund the construction of our portion of that road that's north of the development. So there's different ways of doing that, but certainly we need that connection that goes through this proposed development to make that work.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to go back to Councillor Toth.
Thank you. Only slightly related to the road network and road dedication, but looking again at that map on page 6, I know it came up at APC. I know it's come up a couple times. Lot A, or 5930, I'm wondering if the applicant has actually looked at acquiring that lot, because there's a little bit more road allowance that wouldn't be part of the conversation right now, but would be part of the conversation if they acquired Lot A. And I'm thinking from a design perspective, it would make for a much cleaner project if they were developing the full block instead of having this chunk out for what's currently a single family home that I think is quite close to the property line here. Thank you.
Do we know the answer to that?
I think the answer is yes, it's been investigated, but they're seeking a fair asking price for a decent sized lot with a house. The other thing is that we wanted to move away from that offset intersection and, where Reef and Shoal and recreate that rather than the swing. And if it was trying to use that other road that's on the western extremity, it provides a very awkward and unsafe intersection.
Any follow-up, Councillor Todd? Okay, Mayor Henderson?
Thank you, Chair. At the bottom of page 4, there was a reference you're going to provide us with a map that would be displayed. I was hoping that was going to be the map that would show the extension from, if you will, from Shoal to all the way to South Gale. My question, because that's, I guess, tying into Councillor McLaughlin's question, what is the reality? And for example, I think there may be riparian areas in there. And so I'm wondering, well, is there a map that we can have a look at? And what is the vision of taking that road onto Gale Avenue South? And what do the neighbors think of that? Thanks.
I'm not connected to Zoom at the moment, but I will attempt to do so and be able to share my screen with a map.
Do you have any, Councillor Shepherd, any questions?
Sorry, I'll try and waste some time. Oh, sorry. Please go ahead, Director Allen.
Okay, perhaps just zoom out a little bit for more background. Yeah, so it may be tough to see, but so the above where it says Seashell Nation and you see the green strip, that's a park along the Creek Ravine, and below that is the more recent new subdivision, including that fourplex that I showed on the screen a few minutes ago. So it connects through there. That road up there becomes Gale Avenue South, which does eventually bump up to Fairway. There's another property further north that still blocks between Gale Avenue South and Gale Avenue North, but we build these road networks incrementally. As Director Lee had said, there is no major collector road other than Shoal and where it turns onto Fairway. And you can see that portion of Fairway doesn't follow the road allowance. It's actually on the property that the district owns where the Sunshine Coast Arena is located. So the road network throughout there is imperfect. And again, to reflect what Director Lee had said, to perforate that area with options. And so creating the road through this property, connecting up to what is Gale Avenue South, provides, rather than one major road network, 2 parallel road networks that provide redundancy and options.
Councillor Shepherd?
Yeah, to me, it's not a question of, I'm not questioning the staff's the road network design where it's connecting into. To me, the decision is how amenable does council want to be here to the existing property owner? Are we going to take a very hard line, ask them to buy this extra piece that was dedicated before? Or are we going to do the land swap as staff have recommended? That, to me, is the decision. Thanks.
Correct, that's the direction they're wanting us to make. So with regards to that, if I can go back to you, Director Allen, so we give staff some direction today around these options. And can you just run through what the process is then and at what point it comes back to us and what exactly comes back to us for an actual approval?
Right. Okay. So supposing you choose option 1 or option 2, because the next steps are very similar, we go back to the applicant, we reconfirm the layout, the proposed layout of the site. We reconfirm what the other bylaw requirements that we have pertaining to zoning bylaw 580 or subdivision development control bylaw 430. We work on the final details of that. We bring forward recommendation to council. Let's say we were ready to recommend, I believe we're at second reading now. or we at first, pardon me, first reading. We come back for second reading. And with them, that starts to lock in the site plan. That starts to lock in the conditions. We often have a condition respecting water conservation. There may be a condition respecting amenity contributions or park dedication, those types of things. There'd be a condition on a road closure bylaw to close that section of the road, or a road reservation to talk about the future when that road is constructed as it relates to phasing on the site. So the nuts and bolts technical recommendations that we come back to you with. And I don't have a timeline on that specifically, but it wouldn't be next week by any means. It might be later this spring by the time we work through a few items. And then that comes back to council for decision on, do you wish to give this bylaw amendment second reading to ultimately enable it to proceed to subdivision and development permit.
Okay, Councillor Shepherd.
Sorry, through the chair, I wonder if I could ask the planning director to just talk a little bit more about option 3. What use is the existing dedication Gale Avenue South to as a trail network or future road network? Is there, if he could speak to that, thanks.
Sure. At present, there's a greenway trail through there. It's a gravel trail. It's a 10-meter dedication. So while Director Lee talked about the northern extent of this, that pinch point of 10 meters is functional for a time being, but not ultimate condition. But a road dedication of 10 meters is not great, especially for a collector. The house to the west on the other larger property is very close to the property line. That owner or a future owner would, if they ever wanted to subdivide, would presumably need to remove that house. And again, as I mentioned, answering Director Toth's question, it creates that offset intersection, and perhaps Director Lee can take over. But as it stands now, when you're on Reef and you swing up onto Shoal, it would be a very awkward intersection 20 meters up to have the road, as opposed to putting stop signs, reconfiguring the Shoal and Reef into a proper intersection through. So the new road proposal is a better road proposal from an engineering perspective, from a safety perspective.
Go ahead, follow up.
Sorry, just follow up. So the existing dedication really has not much value in terms of the future road network, but it is being used as a trail. And does it connect to other trails? Is it used a lot? Thanks.
I personally have used it. It just connects over to Rippleway. I think that there's a desire to see greenway trails in the district of Sechelt, no question. That as an alternate, the new road network would have a multi-use path, which is not, albeit the same as a greenway trail, I admit, but it's a piece of road that will take you off of, if you're on your bike or you're walking, take you off at the more busy Shoal Way and bring you over to Rippleway through a greenway corridor at present.
Councillor Bell.
Councillor Insler may have another question, but I'd like to move option 1.
Is that a second?
Yeah, it's a second.
Okay, first and second on the floor, and Councillor Inkster.
Yeah, I think it's the right thing to do, not require payments in any other function, because we've required a larger road to go through the middle of the property. In terms of the greenway piece, that I'm glad that we're putting a multi-use sort of trail. I don't know what it'll look like, but based on what we've done previously, I'm glad to see a non-vehicular pathway through the development when it's built. So I'm comfortable with that plan. Thanks.
Councillor Toth, and then I'll come to you.
Thank you. And thank you to Director Allen for flagging the proximity of the house at 5960, actually to the property line. Looking on the imagery, it looks like that house is basically right on the property line. So I'm wondering, I know it's not relevant to the dedication question right now, but will there need to be some setback considerations given the existence of a current dwelling that close to the property line, recognizing we probably wouldn't allow it to be built there today, but nonetheless it is there. And so is that going to have to be consideration for the site layout when we see it next? Thanks.
Yeah, we'll certainly consider it. Given it's on the other property, it may well have been there before that road dedication was ever extracted from its neighboring property. And those are some of the challenges that we address. We look at the cadastral in various parts of Sechelt, you know, the lower west Sechelt above the highway and connecting roads from McCourt to Mason. And there's a house exactly where we think the road ought to be one day. And that's a great big challenge of doing planning and engineering in these evolving communities where you have these areas that have been rural. Maybe they're still rural, but they are in some respects urbanizing and dealing with existing structures. So there are nuts and bolts requirements from the BC Building Code about spatial separations. I think that will be okay in that regard. But there's also the other piece about buffering and privacy and noise, and we'll certainly factor that into next steps on development review here.
Okay, Councillor McLaughlin.
Yes, thank you through the chair. I'm just concerned because of the busyness of that intersection along Fairway there. I mean, that leads to entire neighborhoods. And I'm just worried that if we do create a secondary route, which is normally a good idea, you might have people wanting to become what's called rat running, to take that route instead because they don't like that other corner. And that would be problematic for people in the townhouses because they would just find that that's not what they bargained for. So I'm just really kind of concerned about that. I don't know if there's anything we can do, but I do agree with the idea with building more networks through there to allow more avenues for traffic to go so that we don't end up just all funneling down to such a major collector.
Thank you. Okay, one more question.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to come back. I think I heard that there is actually a trail, which I obviously have not used, from Shoal to South Gale. So thank you. It's not riparian. I did also ask at the time, what do the neighbors on Gale Avenue South think? We had feedback on that. Because, and to amplify on that, I think I'm hearing the proposal is that this would be a connector road through this development, but is it a connector road? Looking on the map you showed, it doesn't look to be the same 20-meter width. So is the longer vision that it is in fact a connector road all the way through past Ripple?
Thank you for that question. So we haven't had any engagement that I know of on the South Gale current residents, but this is an existing piece of road network, certainly that dedication that exists just south of Ripple Way. So that's been in existence for quite some time, which connects to the intersection on Gale. I believe, I mean, I'm looking at the map now, it looks like 20 meters are close to. So I'm not sure if you're referencing the dedication that's existing on the constructed road on South Gale. The remainder of the unopened dedication is 20 meters that goes south of Ripple Way. So the intent would be to construct a fully functional connector from Reef Road through to South Gale.
Sorry, all the way through. I mean, the point, I like the idea of something better. Fairway is falling apart and, you know, something more streamlined has a natural appeal. I just want to make sure that we're not building a nice connector road that takes us up to Ripple Way or slightly past that, and then suddenly we're into a narrow road. So, you know, a connector road has to be a connector road all the way through. So that's my concern. Thank you.
Yes. So there is a segment where North Gale and South Gale meet that it doesn't connect, and that goes through, I believe, a private property. So that we're not looking to construct that at this time.
So there is a part that is not the 20 meters is what I'm hearing.
That's what I'm hearing as well. So then is a connector road when it can't connect to the other part of the connector road?
It's connected, it's not all the same width. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay.
Sorry, further to the north, so this road wouldn't continue all the way through to North Gale further on, but does connect to
several neighborhoods before that. So I believe it's, I don't know the exact, there, it's potential that there's an 18-meter dedication that it connects to or something of that smaller nature. The road standards would be of the day of that neighborhood. So of course, those neighborhoods were constructed a number of years ago, and so our road standards were different, so they won't look the same necessarily at the same time. So you will see a difference in road standards from 2026 or 2027 construction to whenever those neighborhoods were developed. So certainly that will be a difference, but it's the connectivity that we're getting at.
Okay. Councillor Inkster.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I'm still in support. I think the roads in the neighborhood are similar standards. Those neighborhoods were put together in the last number of years. Council should go look. So I'm comfortable with the road standards, and I didn't know Ripple Way was falling apart, so, yeah. Fairway. I didn't know Fairway was falling apart, so, that's interesting. But I'm still in support, thanks.
All right, Councillor Toth, and we're gonna, I think we've discussed this.
Thank you. It's not so much a question for staff as it is, well, I guess there is a question for staff in this. On page 6, the very last line mentions, this option is a means of showing support and flexibility in providing workforce housing in the community. And so I think my support of the land swap is 100% tied to knowing if we can get a guarantee on a workforce housing component, again, the next time we see this project. Because if we're giving away free land, I want to make sure the community's getting something out of it. So, thank you.
I'm sure all those involved have heard that. That's great. Good comment. All right, I'd like to call the question if we're all happy.
Sorry, Chair, I think I'm right in saying we're not giving away land, we're swapping. So I just want to make that distinction. It's, yeah.
Want to comment?
Sure. I mean, we can require a 20-meter road dedication, period, full stop. The parcel to the north is a 20-meter road dedication, like we do them all over the place. So it's being highlighted here as sort of a way to get, perhaps some workforce housing, because land is the expensive part of things. And this is otherwise a, non-functional chunk of right-of-way. And so I think my comment is not necessarily, the free land part of it. It is the making sure that we're getting something for our contribution, our buy-in. Yeah, thank you.
Thanks. I would agree. I'll just say I was supporting option 1. I think it's of mutual benefit. And I think we have to do what we can to support workforce housing, which is desperately needed. So on that, I'm going to call the question then. All in favor? Opposed? Councillors Shepherd and Mayor Henderson opposed. That is carried. Okay, we have nothing, number 6, so I'm going to, sorry. Did you? What?
Through the chair. This is actually nothing to do with the agenda. It was more, if I may, just say something around a community awareness. And it is really, I just wanted to let people know that about the ticks right now. It may sound very odd, but it is significant right now. It is just because I know we do lots of walking in the trails, all of us and our dogs. I've talked to a number of people, and they've come out of places where they never had a tick, and they've had 5 ticks on them, and their dogs have had them. I spent 2 hours 4-hour emergency yesterday with ticks. So more just awareness for the community to take care of that when you're walking in the trails.
Normally we do that in our council reports, but we don't have that today. So
That's right.
Thank you. All right.
Thank you.
While you do that, can you also give a motion to adjourn? And a second?
Yep.
All in favor?
Councillor Bell, I think Councillor Bell's ticked off. That's
Question and answer. Do we have anybody?